All right, everybody. So let's just bring our mind to the same place our body is. And I'm going to adjust the sound. That's probably a bit better for you. Hello, Modit. Nice to see you. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Okay, so let's just settle our minds. If you're sitting on a chair and your feet are flat on the floor, make sure they're in a parallel position, and maybe you have something underneath your feet, a little cushion or something. Other than that, if they're in the regular cross-legged position for meditation, you can have a couple of cushions underneath either knee if your hips are tight, and please do have something underneath your sit bones. And make sure you're sitting on something quite firm, not like a couch or a comfy chair that you're going to sink into. And also make sure that your hips are parallel, so your pelvic bowl is not tipping too far back or too far forward or too much from side to side. So you can imagine if your pelvic bowl had some water in it, you want to keep it even. So your hands in the meditation mudra, right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. Imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. You can imagine the crown of the head is heading towards the ceiling. Your head is slightly tipped forward. The eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. And the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And relax the jaw. Let's just draw our attention to the top of the head, the crown, and just relax your scalp there, and your forehead, and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, and the area around the mouth. And just bring your attention to the back of the head and relax the scalp and the ears and the inner ear. And bring your attention to the base of the skull, the occipital bone, and relax the back of the neck, the shoulders, the upper thoracic, in between the shoulder blades, the throat, the chest, the belly, the limbs, hands, fingers, feet and toes. And just bring your mind to the breath. Notice the sensation of the cool air as you're breathing in, slightly warmer air as you're exhaling. And you'll notice the sensation of the air is flowing in on the outside of the nostrils, and you'll probably notice it depending on the shape of your nose and perhaps what meditation techniques you may have done in the past. So different traditions have placed different emphasis. Just bring the mind very gently to the breath. If you have any sounds in your external environment, just allow them to be there. Try not to push those sounds away with aversion, or follow your mind to see what's going on. And then just notice what's arising in your mind. And try not to engage with your mind, with your thoughts. Try not to judge your thoughts. Try not to make up stories. So now bring the mind to mind all the people of your life, and your friends, your loved ones, the ones who give you strength, who offer you their strength, are kind to you, or warm to you, look happy to see you. And then there's those people, we generally regard them as someone we have to. We could call that category enemy. It's quite a strong word, but they're not our friends. They have aversion for us. And then there's the strangers. These are the people we're indifferent to. We don't know their name. We don't care really much terribly about them. If a stranger died, we wouldn't be terribly affected. Definitely not in the same way as if our loved one passed. And think, despite how we feel about all these different groups of people, they're all the same as us in their wish to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. Nobody wants to suffer. And they're all the same in that way as well. And they're all the same in this unbelievable capacity for enlightenment, love, wisdom, compassion. Inside, we all have this quality just bursting to come out, except we've got layers and layers of junk on top. So this pure, clear stuff that is really who we are is just there all the time. It's our potential. And everybody has it equally. So bring the mind back to the breath. As we think we're going to do this meditation, this Vajrasattva meditation, purification meditation, for the benefit of all the people of our life. And we can bring to mind now all the people in Ukraine who are madly either hiding underground or trying to escape with their pets, with their children, with their elderly family members. It's some kind of nightmare. So just keep them in mind as we do the practice tonight. So just imagine there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, and we're going to create positivity tonight. We're going to try and ameliorate some of that. Those negative thoughts that we've had, negative actions that we've created. So the first of the 4 opponent powers, this is Vajrasattva practice in the context of the 4 opponent powers, is the power of regret. So think, regret from the depths of your heart. Anything you have done to harm any living being today in this life, or perhaps you have some past lives where you've harmed, and you can think perhaps of specific actions of the body and the speech. And generally we don't go around beating people up and killing them, we're a little bit beyond that. But we do a lot of damage with our speech. Gossiping, spreading rumors, lying. We do lots of harm with our speech. And you can see how harmful on social media, how harmful it is, how it damages people. So think maybe if you have done any harm like this, maybe you trod on an ant accidentally. So just regret. And the reason for regret is based on the logic of karma. Everything we experience is due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And given that we understand what suffering is, we don't want to invite any more into our lives. So, logically, therefore, we want to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. So we also regret our delusions. This is all our anger and attachment and grasping and neediness and jealousy and bitterness. And this is the cause of why we harm others. So think, I'm sick of this suffering, and what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and the first little section here is refuge. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we can see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're asking or needing Buddha to forgive us. It's not that. We're wanting to use his methods to heal ourselves. So just imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can imagine this is the mind of your teacher, your Lama, your trusted mentor, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light. And he's sitting in a cross-legged position on a white lotus and a moon disk. And he has this beautiful, radiant face, ageless, yet very, very youthful. And has his long, lotus-like eyes, and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all the people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth, and his hair is black and held up in a top knot. He's wearing the 5-pointed crown on his head. This is embedded with many jewels, all sort of sparkling. And he's wearing earrings and necklaces and a belt made of jewels, armlets, bracelets and anklets. And he's wearing the celestial robes in the royal Indian style. They're silken. And remember, all this is made of light, like a hologram. He has aura around his head and an aura of light around his body. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a Vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So this next little section on compassion. In order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So in this case, the beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently, maybe someone in the past, someone you also have regret for harming, and try and develop a sense of compassion for them. This is just a wish for them to not suffer, for them to be free from suffering. And then bring to mind those who have harmed you. This is a little bit more difficult to have compassion for them, but if you think, because of their karma that they've created, by being unkind to you or causing you suffering, they are going to suffer in the future, so you can have compassion for them because of that. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and just think, I must purify for their sake. So the next is the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine. They're doing the practice, the mantra recitation. So here we come to the purification of the body. So now imagine Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, sort of like coming out of a hose or a shower head, from a waterfall, just pouring quite strongly from his heart. It arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this disappears into space, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And think that there's nothing you could do other than benefit others with your body from now on. So the next is the purification of the speech. And Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar, this time from his heart chakra. And it arcs around and it forcefully enters your crown again, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of the speech. And it overflows quite strongly. And okay, lying, talking badly about others behind their backs. All this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa. Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sudam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A. Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida mebalwa, sutokaya mebalwa, supokaya mebalwa, anarakta mebalwa, sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame, sidam shriyam kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So next is a purification of the mind. And Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light this time from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same way as when we walk into a room that's dark and we flick on a switch, that light instantly dispels the darkness, doesn't it? So the same here. The moment the light from Guru Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the attachment and neediness and anger and depression and anxiety, resentment and jealousy and bitterness, all of this is instantly dispelled. Not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta mebalwa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida mebalwa Sutokaya mebalwa Supokaya mebalwa Anarakta mebalwa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida mebalwa Sutokaya mebalwa Supokaya mebalwa Anarakta mebalwa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida mebalwa Sutokaya mebalwa Supokaya mebalwa Anarakta mebalwa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida mebalwa Sutokaya mebalwa Supokaya mebalwa Anarakta mebalwa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida mebalwa Sutokaya mebalwa Supokaya mebalwa Anarakta mebalwa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida mebalwa Sutokaya mebalwa Supokaya mebalwa Anarakta mebalwa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So again, be delighted, really rejoice. All your delusions, which are the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified, gone. And think, there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. So you can imagine that Guru Vajrasattva is sending light and nectar. And you can either visualize the previous 3 visualizations of the body, speech and mind, maybe a couple of mantras for each one, or you can imagine light and nectar pouring into you simultaneously, just as mixed, filling you completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida mebalwa Sutokaya mebalwa Supokaya mebalwa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame siddham shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame siddham shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame siddham shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame siddham shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame siddham shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame siddham shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame siddham shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So now feel you are completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the final step in the purification process. But it's a really crucial one. It's really important. We just make a decision that we're going to try not to harm again. Whether it's we harm ourselves or others with our body and our speech. Ourselves, it's usually with our mind. Negative self-talk. So just think perhaps there's something you'd like to work on tonight, over the weekend. It might be something simple like biting your nails, or gossiping about someone continuously, or ruminating about something continuously. So just catch yourself very gently and make a determination. I'll not do this thing for 5 seconds or 8 hours while I'm sleeping. And just decide. And then, if you've been working on something for a little while and you notice some change, some positive change, then rejoice. Pat yourself on the back. And just really acknowledge the progress that you're making. It's encouraging. Okay. So, imagine Guru Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. It's quite sweet. So Lama Rinpoche recommends meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty and not existing from their own side. You can also think that perhaps the way things appear to you are not necessarily the way they actually exist. Just breaks down our concrete view of the world. Okay, so let's just dedicate all the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings. Thinking, may all this virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And the long life prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. To the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, saviour of myself and others, your disciples. Please, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Shera, beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. And I've just seen a message here from Mary. This is Mary Lou. Is she a friend or a relative?
A relative.
A relative. Okay. So we just dedicate tonight's practice to Mary Lou as well. Add her. I'm sorry to hear. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.